everyone. Welcome to Sunday Healing ALS community here. And these meetings are fantastic. They are about pals, for pals, with pals. And we're here as a community to help one another, which is fantastic. There are lots of information that's exchanged here that is not in the regular conventional medicinal methods of how people are doing things. But one thing about this community, there are a lot of folks that are gaining in functionality, which is very important. Okay. I do want to say that we're not medical professionals and we're not here trying to give you medical advice. But what we are doing is giving you the experience of others who have not only stopped the progression of this disease, they have been able to reverse this disease and turn it around. So it's very important that we concentrate and focus on ourselves, not just the physical, but the mental also. I want to say 60% mental, 40% physical. So stay positive. Keep those cells working for you in healing mode. That parasympathetic healing mode that people get in and then get out of is very important. If you find yourself in a funk, get out of those high cortisol levels that are causing stress and things in your body. Change that around, relax to heal, okay? You are the president. People around you are your advisors. So let them know that what you feel is very important, because what you're going through is not the same thing that someone else with ALS may be going through. This is a very multifactorial disease, and so there are many different ways that people are healing with this disease. There is no one pill fits all for any of this, okay? It's very important that know it's a marathon. Things take time. Everything naturally and holistically seems to take time. Be patient. Give your body time to heal, okay? And have fun and enjoy yourself through this journey, okay? Pull yourself out of those depths that we have a tendency to get to, all right? And so, Tish, I'm going to go ahead and let you introduce our guest. Malvedra is fantastic. And Malvedra, can you say your name so we can get the pronunciation correct?
Well, if you break it down into 4 syllables, it's Madhavendra.
Madhavendra.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
I know.
Okay. All right. We have a few announcements that we're going to have for everybody. So, Tish, which do we want to announce first?
I think that I just want to review very quickly all the programs, because a lot of you aren't aware of all of the programs that we actually offer you. So anyone new, you always start with the where do I start document. That's step 1. Make sure you come every Sunday. If you're busy on Sunday, watch the recording. That's usually out within 48 hours. Then we have a basic boot camp, which really gives you the very, very basics, because the ALS is so overwhelming that we really want to make sure that you get the basics down, and it kind of organizes everything, and it hopefully will make you, hey, calm down, you've got time, and don't get overwhelmed. Then once you've completed basic boot camp, you get to join the Healing ALS WhatsApp group, which is just your fellow pals in this group. I think it was about 180 people in the group, but very active and just participating and sharing ideas. It's all positive. It's all healing. Hey, does anybody have a good recipe for this, or any good source for this? And hey, I just found this other thing that works beautifully, that kind of thing. But it's just sharing with other people that are on the same journey as you. Then we're in the middle of the advanced boot camp right now. That's step 5. Once you're ready, we offer it once in the spring and once in the fall. It's a 5-week live webinar to really go in depth of healing the liver, healing the gut. And people say, well, what's the protocol? And then once you're finished advanced boot camp, you get to go and join a mastermind group, which is just a small 7 to 9 person group that you can get in depth with, know a group of fellow pals that you can take this journey with. We have a whole bunch of resources, obviously the boot camps, the Sunday recordings, the conference, and our email, which is our healingals@gmail.com. And so just and the website, there is so much information on the website. People have I've got people 2 years in and said, you never read that article? No, there's a lot on the website. We are redoing it, but even the current website is fine. Save the date, please, so you can meet. Hopefully we'll have around 10, total ALS reversals that you can walk around and meet in person in 2022. So just save this date. Registration should be opening soon. And whatever you do, I want to also thank our donors. I have to actually talk to these donors. I wonder whether I should put their names on. Their names are on the website, but I just want to thank everyone who contributes, because this is so important. There's no way that we could be doing this without you. And the other, obviously, we need to thank our volunteers. So again, every single week, everyone has their little piece. And even if somebody just contributes an hour or two a week, it makes a huge difference. So our volunteer of the week this week is Christy Brown. And she saved me last week because it's so much work when we have a brand new group of people with the advanced boot camp. And she volunteered, and I think it took about 4 hours for me to get through my part. She got through hers in, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 hours. I can't tell you how much it was, but she's a single mom with a 13-year-old, and she said, "Hey, I'll help you out." And she just did a phenomenal job, and all I wanted to do was go to sleep, and she was there to help. So just wanted to thank her. She and her mom, Tammy, are really going through this ALS journey together. She resigned her job to take care of her mom. She is taking this journey with her mom. Her mom is very enthusiastic, and she's doing what it takes to heal. She's done a ton of research, and her mom is now going through advanced boot camp, and Christy is there to support her. So great. Thank you so much, Christy. So anybody who is interested in volunteering, we do have some more volunteer positions open. Just come Monday, December 6th, or you can send an email to healingalsvolunteers@gmail. So just go to healingals.org. Everything is there on the website. Okay, ongoing links. I'm not going to go over them, but it's on the website. So actually, before I mention McFinn's book, I'm just going to actually stop share for a second, because I wanted to get things out. We lost a few pals this week, and Adam Crane, and actually lost 2 weeks, Paolo Terzoli and Jim Savino. Sometimes people pass away from things that are completely unrelated to ALS. And in fact, none of these were actually related to COVID or ALS. And Paolo had a heart attack, for example. And so I just wanted to let everybody know that we're in a battle here. We're in, this is a marathon, not a sprint. It's almost like you're in a battlefield and not all the soldiers come home. But you know what? I believe that every single one of you that's in this audience can heal from ALS. You can live a full life, whether you slow it down, whether you stop it, or whether you reverse it. You can live a full and complete life. And it's all about what we do when we're here. And it's all about making the best use of time, because any of us could I had a friend that was hit by a car. So any of us, can go at any time you want. So I just think we have to realize we're on this planet for a certain period of time, and who knows what God's plan is in all this. But what's happening right now is more and more people are actually slowing this down, reversing it, living 20 and 30 years of a phenomenal quality of life. And that's what we're going for. And each one of you has a mission, because the better quality life you live and the longer you live personally, you are an example for everybody else. So keep that in mind when you're going through this, because you're not just healing for yourself, you're healing for your family, and you're healing really for every other ALS patient that is ever diagnosed in the future. Okay, so let me go back to McFinn, who's one of our really cool. So actually, let's do really quick. I just want to do a really quick, just 30 seconds of silence for Paola and Adam and Jim. So if everyone we'll just do a quick silence. Okay. So when I go out, I'm hoping I don't get hit by a car. I'm hoping I can just go out kicking. I hope I can go kicking. Anyway, McFinn is somebody that decided not to go out. He didn't go out. This was McFinn. He could move 2 fingers. I think most of you know who he is, but his book came out as of officially yesterday. It was on ALS Kindle. So please take the time. I read about half of it. I got about maybe 40% through it, almost half of it last night. And it's a good book. It's worth reading. It's moving. And it talks a lot about the stories of up and down. And so he was down to 2 fingers of movement, and he is now climbing mountains. So climbing mountains and doing everything. There's no way that you would know that he has ALS or he ever had ALS today. So he is one of Dr. Bedlock's official reversals. He absolutely did have ALS. He wasn't misdiagnosed. Believe me, he had ALS. And he is just one of the many, many people that, and he will be on next year in January. We're going to have him on as a speaker. So you'll get to ask him questions, and he will also be attending the 2022 conference. And when you meet the pals in person at the conference, anyway, let me introduce our speaker for today, Madhavendra. And I realize I just spelled your name wrong. Ignore that slide. That's not right. It's right. I forgot the D.
Yep.
Okay. Anyway, the D is missing, guys. Okay. In fact, all right, you're just going to have to deal with it. There's a D in there. Okay. Diagnosed in 2013 at age 66, Madhavendra is now 74. And she is exactly what we want to be. She's an example of living with ALS instead of dying from ALS. And she hasn't reversed. She's a long-term survivor, but she didn't even know until a week ago that she could reverse. So I put the intention out. So I have a feeling that she may be one of our future reversals because she's gotten such a good start. And sometimes you just don't even know it's possible, so you don't even try. So anyway, originally from Australia, she lives outside of Toronto, moved from downtown. Her first symptoms were 9 months before limb onset. And she believes that yoga is a huge reason for her reversal. She is still walking with a cane. She has a few breathing issues, but she can still cook, eat, sing, meditate, and drive, which to me is a huge thing. So Madhavendra, welcome to our speaker for the day. And this is just a few pictures of, why don't you tell us who's in the picture actually on what these pictures are about?
Okay, my daughter is on the left and her husband is next to him. Then there's me, then there's my granddaughter, and then there's my husband. And then the picture on the right is a meditation retreat. We had meditation retreats here twice a year. Anywhere between, usually 40 or 50 people would come, and they would last for 2 weeks. And the gentleman in the green sweater, sort of just off to the right from the middle, he was the main speaker. And we'd have them twice a week. Then COVID, and we can't have them anymore because we're not allowed to have groups inside. And we also, retreats can spread sickness. You only need one person to come with a cold or the flu, and then pretty quickly everyone goes down. So we just can't have the retreats anymore. Okay.
So this is just your website. That's all. I just kind of go. And we'll share that again at the end.
Okay.
If you could go over what you do, what kind of your journey of when you started with ALS, and what you did first and second, and also how you got past the fear, because I think people really want to know, you're given this death sentence. How did you manage to get through that?
Okay. Well, I just want to say, first of all, a thought that came to mind when you said we're in a battle or we're in a war. Just have to remember, we're all warriors. We can fight this thing. I feel like a warrior, and I'm sure you're all warriors. So just always keep that in mind. You're a warrior. Okay, so I didn't know what was wrong with me for about 9 months. I'm not too good on timelines, but I wasn't feeling, I couldn't do things quite right. I wasn't feeling right. I couldn't stand up on the toes on my right foot, and I'm thinking, what's wrong here? I had practiced and taught yoga for a long time, 25 years, and quite a strenuous form of yoga. And so I was very aware of my body and what it was stopped being able to do, and I couldn't find out what was wrong with me. So I went from doctor to doctor, and finally a rheumatoid I'm not sure what he's called, specialist, took a biopsy on my arm, a piece of nerve, and he said that I was nerve related, and he sent me to the top ALS person in Toronto, in the country actually he was supposed to be. And I didn't know he was a specialist in ALS. I just knew that, he was the one he said I needed to see. So I went and saw him, and he hooked me up. You're probably all familiar with this, to a computer, and did all these tests on me, and then told me he wanted, and did some more blood tests, pretty basic blood tests, but wanted me to come back in a week with my husband. I thought, this is not good. He wants me to come with my husband. So I came back, and then he told me I had ALS, and I thought, okay, I've got ALS, and he told me, just eat lots of ice cream, because we find that people who have got extra weight on do better with ALS. And I thought, are you serious? I'm sick and you want me to eat ice cream, which is just full of garbage? And so I never went back to him. That was it. So then I went off in the natural route, and I went to a functional doctor who tested me for all kinds of things. He tested me for food sensitivities. He tested me, I can't remember what he tested me for. Anyway, they did 19 vials of blood. I remember that. And anyway, it turned out there was a few foods I was sensitive to. I should stop eating, because the philosophy is if your body gets strong enough and healthy enough, it can fight this disease. So that was the route I went, trying to get my body really healthy. But he didn't really tell me much about doing that. And then a friend turned me on to this Chinese guy who was a homeopath. And really he was a healer. He told me that, ALS, autoimmune disease, it's caused by leaky gut. Your problem is leaky gut. You've eaten too much sugar and carbohydrates in your life. And he told me that I had to go on a very strict diet. And since I'm vegetarian, it didn't include meat. So all I could pretty much eat was vegetables. He wouldn't let me eat any carbohydrates, any sugars, any fruit. So all I lived on was soup and vegetables for about a year. I lost quite a bit of weight actually. So, but I started to get better. And then I was able to just introduce rice and, a few carbs into my diet, not potatoes, but not things that more whole foods that don't convert to sugar immediately. So I went on this diet, and then he would also give me different supplements to take, which I think are in the thing that Patricia did. And so I was on the diet and taking the supplements, and I actually started to feel better. The original symptoms in my legs didn't go. I still can't stand on my toes on my right leg, but it's not really necessary. I can live without it. And I meditate. And meditation has been part of my life for well over 30 years. And that's the biggest thing, is the meditation. So I haven't worried about reversing the ALS because I can live with it. Oh, another thing I didn't feel comfortable. We were living right downtown in a big building full of Wi-Fi. Every apartment in the building had Wi-Fi. And I thought, I need to get out of this. This is a neurological problem, and I need to get out of this environment. So we moved out of the city into a house, and my daughter and her family moved in with us. We got a house big enough that they live with us. So they help me. I don't need a lot of help, but they're there if I need them for anything. And so that's been wonderful. Anyway, it's been wonderful to live with my my family. Oh, now I see that Patricia's put different things up on the screen. Yeah, I did test high in heavy metals, and I am going to try this stuff she mentioned, OSR, which I never heard of before I talked to her on Friday. All my mercury fillings have been gone for quite a while. The Chinese doctor said I wasn't ready to chelate. He said I could have a Herxheim effect if I chelated, and I did it anyway, and I did feel worse. I tried ozone therapy. That didn't really do anything. Main thing is diet. That's the big thing. And my body is so sensitive that if we go out to eat, and people put sugar in everything, pretty much, except for what I cook for myself. And when I eat something that's got wheat or sugar in it, I do feel worse. My balance is not as good. It's almost like an immediate reaction. So for me, diet is huge. And as I said, I've been vegan for a long time. I was originally vegetarian, but I tested lactose intolerant in one of the tests, so I gave up dairy. And I've been vegetarian really for over 40 years, even before I started to meditate. I like to, if I can have a massage every couple of weeks, I really like it. I'm a big fan of acupuncture, but Chinese doctors seem to be nervous to treat in COVID, so I haven't done that for a while. I tried energy medicine, and I tried all these different things. It's a big hit on the wallet, all of this stuff, because we're not covered for any of it. And the supplements I take, I always try to take good quality supplements, not ones that are put out by big corporations or people like the stuff you can buy in the like Walmart or Shops. I don't buy those kind of supplements. I look for more the smaller company, where the person is actually really interested in putting good ingredients into their supplements. And I don't know, I think I've covered everything. As I said, the biggest thing has been the meditation. And have I covered everything there with
Yeah, so we were just going to talk, I asked, I said, so she has a very slow progression, and people say, well, maybe that person is just lucky. They have a slow progression. I think there's a certain amount of luck in it. There's no question. But Madhavendra, what I would like to know is do you feel that if you hadn't changed your diet and you hadn't done anything, what do you feel? Where do you feel you would be right now?
I think I'd be dead. Well, I would think my body would be dead. I was heading down that path. I really do. So I went through, the first year was very difficult, being on this diet, the loss of energy. I had to heal my gut, I had to I'm a very big believer in the gut being the second brain. And I feel like if I hadn't done that, if I hadn't worked on that, no, I wouldn't be here today. So anyway, I see that you say didn't dwell on ALS, too depressing. Somebody recently asked me, what do I find as what was the hardest thing when I found out I had ALS? And I thought about that, and for me, and you might think this is just completely ridiculous, but the hardest thing for me when I found out I had ALS was telling other people I've got ALS, because immediately I would have to deal with their sympathy. And, oh, you poor thing, you're okay. And then I would start feeling sorry for myself, and I'm thinking, God, get me out of here. I don't want to hear this, It's that's what it did to me, is telling other people. And then we used to have meditation retreats here. I want to hear something funny. Usually about 40 or 50 people would come. They would be day retreats, and we still kept doing this. And my granddaughter was about, 5. And she didn't even know what ALS was, but she knew that I was sick. And she went around telling everybody at the retreat, Nana's got ALS, And I didn't even know half these people. Will you stop telling people I've got ALS? So I have all these people coming up to me, oh, you poor thing, Anyway, so it wasn't a very positive thing. So it's, anyway. As I said, the meditation, that's the big thing. It helps you detach from your body, from what's going on with your body, from being so involved in what's happening with you, you know, and yeah, it's a big thing. And I really, when I didn't even know about you until recently, this group, and I thought maybe they'd like to learn how to meditate. So I contacted Patricia, and they did, because that for me was the biggest help of all. And
okay, so you're going to actually teach us a little bit about meditation. So why don't we do that? You can talk about, we have just a couple of slides on meditation, and then we're actually going to do a little practice, right?
Right, we are. So I'll just explain the meditation. The meditation, before I learned this meditation, I had tried all these different types of meditation. I had tried silent meditation, trying to just clear, you know, all the thoughts from my mind. I had tried different things I'd read in New Age books, and none of them worked. And then I was in Australia at the time, I was living there then, and some people moved next door to me that taught mantra meditation. And I thought, and I tried it, because it gives you something for you to focus on. And so I tried it, and I liked it. And after a week, I noticed, oh, I'm feeling a little better. My mind's not bothering me as much. And I'm less emotional. The women that are here, we tend to be ruled by our emotions. And so one of the things I wanted to know to meditate for was to control my mind and my emotions. So I was very happy that the mantra meditation had that effect. And it's also not this meditation is not some New Age meditation that somebody has made up. This meditation is something that's been handed down for thousands upon thousands of years, from fully enlightened spiritual master to fully realized spiritual master, and it hasn't changed. So it's a very ancient process of yoga meditation, and the proof is in the pudding if you start to do it. And I recommend doing it daily. It's like everything, you know, if we develop that discipline in our lives, it works. So, you know, you don't have to believe me. You really need to try it for yourself. And
there's science behind it too. Meditation puts you in, takes you from the sympathetic mode to the parasympathetic mode. And there are so many studies about healing and disease, and the science is so clear, and we're talking hundreds and hundreds of studies that are confirming that meditation makes a difference. And I love that you tried a whole bunch of different kinds, and that this one worked. And then the other thing too, and for you, everyone's different, but we have a whole bunch of ALS reversals that have used one form of meditation or another that are on our reversal list. So this does make a difference. So I think I just wanted to kind of throw in the science there. Sorry to interrupt.
No, that's fine. And I agree with everything you're saying. And one of the big things is it helps you to realize, and I'll explain this a little bit after we've done the meditation, but it helps you to realize that this material body, which may be falling apart or not at the moment, is not you. You are not this material body. And science has proven that between every 5 and 7 years, every atom and molecule in our body is replaced. Every 5 to 7 years. So if you were to look at a photograph of yourself more than 7 years old, the body that you're looking at doesn't exist today. It's a completely new body. So you couldn't possibly be this body, whether male, female, whatever color it is, that couldn't be you, because that body didn't even exist 5 or 7 years ago. But still you remember that time, don't you? Probably we've all had several different bodies in this lifetime, and we can remember back then. But those bodies don't exist anymore. So logically, you can't be your body. And also in all the different scriptures, they also say that we're the soul within the body. So it's explained on both levels, on a material and a spiritual level. And the other big illusion is that I'm my mind. Well, when you're meditating, you can actually start to detach from your mind. You know, you might start the meditation. The most important thing when we're doing the meditation is try to focus on the mantra. And then you'll be doing it for about 30 seconds or a minute, and your mind starts to think about something else. And you start to observe, oh, my mind's gone on to this. And then you bring your mind back to the meditation. It goes somewhere else again. You bring it back to the meditation. So who is trying to control the mind? It's you. You're the spiritual living being within this body. We're all spiritual in essence, and our mind is like, it's a subtle material body that's covering us, and then the body that we've got is a gross physical body. So being able to detach from what's going on in our minds and what's happening to our bodies is huge. And then the most amazing part is that we're eternal. So this body dies, we don't die. And that's a big, big subject in itself. I don't know whether you believe in reincarnation or not, but if you're interested in learning more about it, we have talks and videos on our website. Because if I talk about that now, we're going to be here for hours. And I think we'll just start off with doing some meditation together. So Patricia's just put the first mantra up, which is Om Hari Om. Now a mantra is not a material sound vibration. It's what's known as a transcendental sound vibration, in that it transcends material energy. It descends directly from the spiritual realm, bringing all the potency of the spiritual realm with it. So these mantras are all pure and all purifying. And all we have to do is focus our minds on the sound of the mantra, and gradually over time, our minds become purified of unnecessary emotions, thoughts, negative things, etc., etc. Things that we don't want to have. Our consciousness becomes purified. So we just have to try to focus on the sounds of the mantra. And we're going to start off with a nice deep breathing meditation. Very nice way to start the day. And also if you have trouble sleeping at night, a very nice way to end the day. And so what we're going to do is we'll take a deep breath in. And as we inhale, we'll think of the mantra Om Hari Om. And as we exhale, we'll all say it together, stretching out the sound to the length of the exhalation. And we're just going to keep doing this for 2 or 3 minutes, okay? Trying to focus our minds on the sound. It's best if you remain muted because there's time lags and it will sound like a big mess. So I won't be remuted, and I'll say the mantra and you just say it along with me. And I'm going to play some music with it. I'm also going to talk to you before we start saying the mantra, just to become relaxed, okay? So music's coming up in a second. I've got my whole little on my phone here and this little speaker. Okay. Can you hear the music okay, Patricia? Okay?
Yes, I do. Perfect.
Okay, so for the moment, just close your eyes. And just become aware of parts of your body that you may be holding tension. And relaxing your shoulders, just let your shoulders drop. Relax your arms, let your hands fall loosely in your lap. Become aware of your abdominal muscles and just let them be soft. Bring your attention to your face. Relax your jaw. Maybe your lips will part slightly. We can hold a lot of tension in our jaw. Softening your eyes. Smoothing out your forehead. And most importantly, relaxing your mind. Just listening to the music, let the thoughts go away. Just observe the gentle rising and falling of your chest as you inhale and exhale. And starting to deepen your breath a little. Chest expanding as you inhale and falling as you exhale. Now on the next inhalation, we're going to think of the mantra Om Hari Om. And as we exhale, we'll all say it together. Breathing in. Om Hari Om. Inhaling. Om Hari Om.
Thank you. That was nice. Now, if you want, I'm just trying to look at our timing, whether you want to do the second one or not, or whether we want to go to Q&A. It's up to you. By the way, I'm just kind of curious as to how many had trouble stopping the monkey mind going like 1,000 miles an hour, thinking of everything? You know, you'd raise your hand, your virtual hand or your real hand. Yeah, it takes practice. I think that's one of the big things. It takes practice. This stuff, it takes practice, right?
It gets easier, but the mantras are so powerful. Even if the mind starts chattering away, there's still an effect. So even if you can't keep your mind quiet, you will notice an effect from the meditation. It's entirely up to you. The next meditation we were going to do is where we were singing the mantras. Okay. If you would prefer to ask questions. So why
don't we do it really short so people can get an idea? Because all of this is also on the website, which we're going to share later. So if people want to actually join a class and do online meditation, which is, one of the advantages of COVID, is that, Zoom has just sort of expanded and you could do all these things online instead of doing them in person, which when you've got ALS, that's a real help, because you don't have to pack yourself up and go places. So yeah, why don't we do a quick demo of this one?
I'm just waiting. My daughter's going to come downstairs. I just texted her and she plays the guitar. So I'm just going to explain about, it's called Kirtan, Kirtan, where you actually sing the mantras. And if you think about it, how when you sing something or you hear it in a song, how it stays in your mind and how powerful it is. I mean, just yesterday I was walking around a store and they were playing some song. Took me ages to get that song out of my mind, you know, because they really do stay in your mind when you sing something. So when you sing these mantras, it's a very nice way to get the mantras to penetrate your mind. And especially if you do it for half an hour or so, I mean, they can stay with you all day. So I'm presuming she's coming in a second.
Okay, good. And that's kind of cool because then you can go back to you can go back to where you were during that half an hour and just bring your body back into this nice, calm, peaceful healing mode. Understand every time that you calm yourself down, you take a deep breath and you think good, relaxing, peaceful thoughts, you're in healing mode.
And also, if you're sitting at your computer, you can just play meditation music while you're sitting there. On our website, we have lots of meditation music that you can just sing along with. So that's a big plus too. It's a very practical form of meditation. It can be practiced anytime, anywhere. Even if you're driving your car, you can have the meditation music on. Not that I'm suggesting you close your eyes while you're driving the car, but you can be hearing it, and it is penetrating your consciousness, and it is having an effect. So
fantastic. So while we're waiting for your daughter, why don't we talk?
Okay. Have a look at that.
Talk about how to contact you as well.
Yeah. Oh, you spelled my name right there.
Oh, good. I'm so sorry. I finally got it. I think today I finally got the whole thing. I think of MAD, M-A-D, and then have, and then I've got the rest. So now I've got it. It's really good.
Okay.
So this is how, if everyone wants to know how to contact Madhavendra, look, the yogameditation.ca, tell us a little bit about what's on that website.
Okay, well, there's a lot of philosophical lectures, talks on the website. There's meditation music, like we're going to be doing in a minute, and there's classes. So, there's a full class, plus I give live classes, plus every Friday night from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. we have a kirtan meditation. We start off with the breathing like we were just doing, and then we have a kirtan where we sing the mantras. And also on the website, there's a meditation that I haven't had time to teach you today where we meditate with beads. And that's a wonderful meditation too. That's something I do every day, actually. So, there's no shortage. We've worked really hard on this website, like you've worked really hard on yours, to get it so that there's lots of information. My daughter is here. Here she is, with her guitar. You don't have to be a musician to do this meditation, but we'll start off singing the mantra Gauranga, just that one word, Gauranga, and then we'll sing Gopala, Govinda, Rama, Madana, Mohana, okay? She's going to sing it first, or do you want me to sing it first? Actually, we'll all just sing it together. We'll just do Gauranga twice, and then we'll just sing Gopala, because we're only doing it for a couple of minutes. They don't have much time.
Okay.
It can be done to any tune, by the way.
Gauranga,
Gauranga, Gauranga, Gauranga, Gauranga, Gauranga, Gauranga, Gopala, Govinda, Rama,
Thank you so much. That was beautiful. That was
Well,
really so
it's
incredible.
very powerful form of meditation. So I do encourage you to go to the website and listen to more chanting on the website, or join us live. It is very powerful. I remember the very first meditation I did actually was kirtan, where we were singing the mantras. And I didn't know a thing about it. I just joined in with all these people that had been doing it for ages. And I thought, I don't know what that was all about, but I feel really good now. So here I am still doing it, because everyone wants to feel good, right? So this is very a feel-good thing.
How big of an effect did Eric Edney have on you?
Eric is winning?
Yeah, because you did that right at the beginning. Did that get rid of any of your fear at all?
No, the meditation was what got rid of my fear. I don't know that I was ever that fearful, actually.
Did it help at all reading that book, since he had survived so long? Or
Yeah, it did. It made me realize, this is not as bad as you think. I mainly only wanted to see positive things. I didn't want to see negative things. So yeah, it did help a bit, yeah. But as I said, meditation was what helped me the most.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, Glenn, do you want to grab the first question? And Scott as well. You could, Scott, Glenn, and Julie.
Well, the first question was from Scott, which is, being a long-term survivor, what is your daily routine?
Okay, daily routine is, I get up around 6:37 every morning, and I spend an hour meditating. And then I have pretty light breakfast, actually, usually smoothie or juice or something. And then there's quite a bit of work involved with the Meditation Toronto. So I work on the computer, and I may do some more meditation as well. And then I have lunch, and I don't know, different things, go shopping for food. Dinner, I always meditate at night, or I might watch a video lecture on meditation philosophy. I also read the ancient Vedic scriptures. My days seem to be fairly full, actually. And lately I've had medical things happening with the dentist. That's kind of taken up my days recently. But yeah, first thing, always meditate. Because once I start getting on my day's activities, meditation can go by the wayside. So it's always the first thing. I'm not suggesting you do it for an hour, but that's what I do.
Is there a list of favorite supplements that you have a tendency to rely on more than others?
Yeah, if you're down in the US, you can get this. I like this Physica Ed, PHYSICA, I think it's E, and then Ed, ED. But you can only get that through naturopaths or dietitians, but they can order it for you. In Canada, it's really hard to get. I have to get someone from the States. They won't send to Canada. I guess there's some kind of regulation. I like them. I like Country Life. I like Neem Queen because it's just pure neem leaf. I like Designs for Health. Now, they're a Canadian brand. And there's also, best to ask your naturopath. A naturopath will give you what they think is good supplements. Like my naturopath gets me to, there's a place called, I think it's Signatures or something. They make up different supplements for her, for me. So it's best to ask.
Okay, thank you.
You can get stuff there that I can't get here. So,
Julie.
So it sounds like you did not lose your voice in your journey with your first loss.
I didn't.
Okay.
No, I didn't.
So I just, to kind of represent our pals that have lost their voice, and I noticed with a lot of your mantras as being big, is there any suggestions to help that inclusion where you're not overwhelmed if you have lost your voice, of how you can still...
You can chant them in your mind. You can do it in your mind. and it's fine. Main thing is to keep your mind focused on it. But you can say the mantras in your mind. You can sing the mantras in your mind. You can be listening to meditation music in your mind. If your voice doesn't work like you would like it to do, that's fine. Just be focusing on the mantras in your mind. I know that when we come to the end of our life, all our senses are usually drawn inward. And I don't know if you've been in a situation when people are leaving their bodies, but they've gone inward and they often don't speak, and you don't think they can hear you, but yes, they can hear you. It's the last sense we lose. And they can meditate in their mind. They can hear these mantras in the mind. So it's not necessary. The reason that we teach you to say the mantra out loud is that the mind tends to follow the senses. So we're using the sense of hearing and the tongue to help engage the mind in the meditation. But if you're not able to do that, that's fine. You can just meditate on the mantras in your mind. But it does help to draw the mind more onto the mantra if you can say them out loud.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. Great question and great answer.
It is a really good question, actually.
Yeah. Glenn.
Richard asked, what about Deanna's protocol supplements? Have you ever used those?
Which one?
Deanna protocol?
No, I've never heard of them. I'm open to, if anyone recommends a particular supplement, I'm always open to it. I've just found what works for me, but I'm always open to, like Patricia was telling me about OSR the other day. I'd never heard of that. And I still have some heavy metals in my body, so I'm looking into that at the moment. So, no, I've never heard of that one, but I'd be interested in looking at it, if someone says it's a really good supplement.
Yeah. By the way, we have a pals. I wanted in the group that was improving with OSR, and then ended up getting 2 fillings out at once, and has taken a downturn. But I'm sure he'll improve again. But in general, when you're getting fillings out, please consider just getting 1 out and see how your body reacts. Because if your body isn't ready, you're not ready to get your fillings out. So please, you've got to build up your body before you get your fillings out and feel really comfortable, and then just get 1 out at a time and make sure that works for you. And then, as long as you don't have a bad reaction, then consider getting the rest out. So in general, it might be smart to do it slowly, and then, hey, I'm not ready. So wait a few months, build up your body. Here you got. So Madhavendra, I'd love to know, you tried the heavy metal detox and you weren't ready for it.
No, I was just thinking that while you were saying it. And I looked at the OSR as well. And I'm thinking, this stuff looks really potent. I'm just going to have to take a very little bit in the beginning, because it's a very strong chelator by the look of it. So yeah, when we're chelating our bodies, some of our bodies aren't quite ready for it. So we have to be very careful. And
right.
that includes fillings.
Yeah, and that's true of absolutely everything. Now, also happens to be one of those things. I think it's probably the safest chelator on the market because it holds on, it never lets go. The biggest problem with some of the chelators is it will pull it out, and then if you don't expel it through the urine and through the feces, what's going to happen is you're going to reabsorb it. So that's the biggest issue with most of the chelators on the market, is they tend to pull out more than your body can handle the detox for.
Or it could be heavy on your kidneys and give you a whole other problem.
Exactly. So it's just, again, I love the idea. Exactly. You've got it. This is just true for every single thing you do, every supplement, every chelator, every detox method. Do everything slowly, but surely. So that's a great. And were you scared? I have a question before we move on to Scott's question. I forgot who we're on now. I think it's Scott. Were you worried because you really got quite thin when you were on your diet to heal your gut? And yet it ended up healing you. So how did you, that's a tough situation to be in. You were very strict with your diet in order to heal your gut.
Did I get scared? Not really. I found this lady at a market who made these amazing breads. out of things like tiger nut flour and almond flour and coconut flour, and I found that I could tolerate her breads really well. So that kind of stopped me losing any more weight, was having bread with my soup and stuff like that. Yeah, so there are solutions. It's I don't know. It's hard to get people to diagnose leaky gut because only a functional doctor or a naturopath will do it. A regular doctor, they don't even recognize it. Or maybe they're starting to now, I don't know, but they didn't then. So it's very hard to get someone to recognize the major influence our gut has on us.
Yeah, and I think most pals have leaky gut. That's sort of my opinion, just through observation and what people have told us. So that's why. Next question.
Basically, you were saying that you weren't able to stand on your toes anymore. Now, have you just given up, or are you working on things to continue gaining in those little sections of functionality that you're still working on?
You want me to admit how lazy I have been in that area?
Well, I don't know about that.
Well, not really. Occasionally I think of it and I'll stand on my toes, and I may be able to do it for a bit. It's not one of those things that really bother me. It was the only reason I found out I couldn't stand on my toes is we had a builder and he dropped a tack and I stepped on it and I tried to stand up on my toes, and that was when I realized I couldn't. But it's not something that we do that often unless we're trying to reach for something. So, yeah, no, I should be working on it, but I haven't been.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I can't raise my left arm any higher than that. That I do work on. I mean, I cannot bring it up any higher than that. So there's definitely muscle loss around here. That I work on. Standing on my toes doesn't really bother me, but the arm thing does.
And then you said you don't eat sugar. Is there any sweetener that you do use?
Well, I do now. I try not to too much, but yeah, honey, stevia. There's actually lots out there now. Coconut sugar has got a much lower glycemic level than actually straight processed sugar, but I try to be moderate with it. Honey is actually very healthy if you get a good one, not a honey that you buy maybe at Costco that's had the life boiled out of it and they're actually cancer causing, but a good raw honey. And don't cook it.
Yeah, raw honey, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, that's actually good for you. So, yeah, I do use a sweetener.
Now, did you use honey even that first year when you were trying to heal your gut? Did you also use that?
No, in the beginning I didn't. And it's amazing, you start to taste the sweetness in vegetables. No, this guy was really strict with me. He told me, no, you can't have that. I couldn't even have fruit. So, because he was really trying to fix my gut, yeah.
So I think that's also another important point. Sometimes you need to be strict for a period of time, but once your gut heals, you can relax a bit.
Yeah.
And as I said, now you've added honey. I've talked to so many people that really were super strict, but now they can a few other things.
Wheat is another big thing. The wheat molecule is really actually nothing like it was many, many years ago. So I don't eat wheat either. But, now you can get rice pasta and you can get, there's other things you can get besides wheat. So I don't ever eat that.
Yeah, wheat and corn, I think, are so ruined in our society right now that it's just...
Anything that's genetically modified actually is a good idea to keep away from, and never, ever MSG, which is, Chinese food is full of it. You go to a Chinese restaurant or sometimes a Thai restaurant, MSG, that actually has been proven to affect your brain. So MSG, monosodium glutamate.
Yeah, and glutamate, again, anyone diagnosed with ALS cannot process glutamate. So when you ingest it, you really have trouble getting rid of it. So that is an absolute no-no. And soy as well. Most of the soy is genetically modified, but even organic soy is causing some problems with a lot of people as far as endocrine system.
Right. I do eat a little bit of tofu.
Okay, and did you always eat tofu even when you were
Yeah, I did.
so organic tofu was something that you ate. Okay, so again, we want to hear your story, and that is what worked for you. So,
Yeah, tofu doesn't seem to bother my body, but if I'm to go to a like we ate Thai last week, and they must have put MSG in it, and I felt it immediately, and it made me feel really bad. So yeah.
okay, next question, Glenn. I think it's your turn.
Yeah, and it's actually a question from me. Did you regain any function, or did you just not progress any longer?
I just didn't progress any further. But I feel like if I went off this diet, I would. You know, and I like the diet anyway. I've worked out how to make food really good without eating this other stuff, so it's fine. You know, it doesn't bother me at all. Yeah.
And it takes time, I think, to develop that diet. So people, you know, you totally changed your way. It's not like, I call it easing into the diet, but really once you ease into it and you get used to these phenomenally tasting foods, it's like you don't even want to go back anymore. You don't crave any of that stuff that you used to eat. You don't even want it anymore.
No, you don't. You don't. So, yeah.
Great. I think we're at Scott and then Julie.
Are there any definitions to the mantras that you're giving? Any clarification on what we are singing about?
Okay. Yeah, you should know that. That's a very good question. Om refers to the universal aspect of God. Okay. It includes all the living entities who are part of the spiritual potency. Hari refers to he who gives bliss to those who engage in this meditation. Also removes impediments and it removes all impediments to spiritual life. So that's what Om Hari Om mean. Gopala and Govinda mean he who protects the cows. Okay. And Madonna Mohana means he who is so very beautiful that he is the most attractive.
Constant asked, how long after you changed your diet and healed your gut did you start to feel better?
God, I wish I had a better time memory. I don't know. I can't remember exactly when it happened because these things are so gradual. You don't all of a sudden, oh, today I feel great. It was just a gradual improvement. And I know before I was diagnosed, I noticed I was getting puffy. My face was puffy. My ankles were puffy. It was like my whole body was failing. And that went down. My inflammation levels were really high. Did people get their inflammation levels tested? My inflammation levels went right down. So it's a gradual thing. It was all of a sudden, it wasn't an all of a sudden I feel better. It was a very gradual process.
Right. And overall, so even though you didn't gain functionality, you feel better, right? And you have more energy, and you just feel better overall.
Yeah. I'm not even too worried about the functionality because, you know, the old saying, happiness comes from within. So even if the body is not working perfectly outside, I feel fine.
Yeah, I think that's super. That's again, so that just feeling good day in and day out, and you don't have perfect functionality. It's kind of like, who cares? You're able to drive, you're able to walk. I mean, it's been 8 years, and you're living a pretty good quality life right now. Is that true?
Yeah, totally. And people can have everything. They can have the perfect body, perfect face, perfect brains, and they're committing suicide. So it's really what's going on, how you, the spirit soul, the living entity within the body, how you feel. That's what's important. It's not what the body is doing. It's how you feel. I had a girlfriend, I mean, this is amazing. I had a girlfriend who had breast cancer. She had stage 4 breast cancer. And then I had, at the same time, I had a friend, his brother had liver cancer. And he came over, my friend Ron brought his brother over to meet my friend who had breast cancer. He thought she might be able to help him. And I looked at the two of them next to each other, and he was like this frightened person. You're just frightened and not much life in him. And then I looked at my friend who had breast cancer. She was stage 4 breast cancer, and she was glowing. She was so happy. So, and then in her last days, she said to me, I've never felt happier in my life. Because she was actually experienced true yoga. She was linked up with the Supreme. So it's what you're getting happiness from. These two people their bodies were falling apart, but the one who was actually experiencing the bliss and happiness of yoga was fine. And she was about to die, and she said she'd never felt happier. I never forget that. I hope I'm the same.
McFinn's book, I was reading his book last night, and this is McFinn Levier that I showed you, and he said he started a men's group, and he was at ALS, and he was looking around at the other men, and he says, there's nothing wrong with them at all. Here I'm having trouble walking and moving all this stuff, and I'm happy, and yet these other people that were perfectly healthy physically, they weren't as happy and healthy as he was mentally. So I think it's very important that each of us, every single one of us, work on being happy in our minds, regardless of what's happening with our bodies, because it changes the quality of every single hour of every single day of your life.
Totally, yeah.
Well, and it helps you heal. So go ahead, and then it's Glenn's turn, actually, Scott.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that, Glenn. I'm just basically getting to the point of, you said you were so inflammatory. Now, we know that different foods like corn, soy, GMO, and wheat, and all that's inflammatory, but also frequency can be inflammatory, which creates all this oxidative stress. So were you in that environment of all of that Wi-Fi when you were tested for having those high levels?
Yeah, yes.
And then once you got out of those frequency levels of all that Wi-Fi downtown, did that inflammatory situation go down once you left?
No, I don't know, because it was quite a while later that I tested again for inflammation levels. So I don't know when the inflammation levels went down, but now they're just normal. So I don't know, probably a combination of everything, but I couldn't put a pin down to one thing. But it was just in my gut. I knew I did not want to be around all that electrical energy anymore.
Right.
Do you remember the name of the test that you took for inflammation?
I'd have to look it up. I can send it to you.
Send it to me, and I'll bring it up on tomorrow's Q&A, because Monday, again, we have the Q&A for diet and supplements, and we throw in some testing in there as well. So that would be great.
Yeah, there is a name for that test. It's just like 3 or something. C-reactive protein.
Oh, C-reactive protein. Okay.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and by the way, you guys can all request that. That's all covered by government insurance, Medicare, national health insurance, whatever insurance you're on. Generally,
it is C-reactive protein, and there's another one you can do as well that I can't remember.
Okay, thank you. Glenn, and then Julie.
Yes, Lisa asked, do you eat all organic?
I try to. I totally try to, because I try to put as little poison in my body as possible. And in summer, I like to grow some vegetables. Unfortunately, in Canada, half the year you can't do that. Although I have been thinking about turning my basement into a greenhouse. I don't know if I'm up for that, but I try to eat organic. Yeah, I do.
Great. Okay, Julie.
A lot of people have been discussing rice in the chat, saying that a lot of rice products have arsenic. What's your thoughts on rice? Do you have rice in your diet?
I do have rice, but not a lot. I do have rice. Yeah, I read about arsenic and rice, but you know what? I've lived a lot in Asia, and they have rice every meal, and they seem fine. But I have read about arsenic. I think there's arsenic in a lot of things, actually. But yeah, I do eat rice, but not a huge amount.
Okay, great. And again, rice is a carb that turns into sugar. So again, it's not like we can't have it. It's we need to minimize it.
That's right. Yeah, just a little bit. Yeah.
Okay, Glenn, do you have another one?
I don't see any specific to this topic.
Okay, Julie, if you have any other, I'm looking through as well, just to see if everyone has.
Well, I have a little one from Richard. Basically, you talked about the raw honey and not to heat the honey, but putting the raw honey in your coffee. I'm sure that the enzymes there probably decrease once you heat it. Is that correct?
I totally agree with you. I don't drink coffee, by the way. That's another thing I cut out. But I do have every morning. I have lime tea. I squeeze a lime, and I put some honey in it. And I try not to put the honey in boiling water. I try to only heat the water to about 70%. In fact, I just bought an electric jug that I've been wanting to get for ages that heats it to 70%. And so, yeah, it's supposed to cause cancer if you boil honey. It's not supposed to be good for you at all.
Yeah, it becomes rancid, sort of, in that's very true. Yeah. Also, the coffee is very acidic. So if you are drinking coffee, you should much limit that or not have it at all.
No, I don't have it at all. It is very acidic. That was the other big thing. That's a good point. Is I tried to alkalize my diet as much as possible. And both sugar, coffee, alcohol, highly acidic, all of them.
Yeah, good question. And then, meat is also acidic. And so for those of you who are eating meat, which is fine, I eat meat as well. Some people seem to do better and it seems to, everyone's body seems to be different. Madhavendra's vegan for philosophical reasons, but some people find that they do better with meat and some people find that they do better with vegan. Everyone is different. I mean, even the Dalai Lama now eats a little bit of meat because his doctor said if you don't eat a tiny bit of meat, you're not gonna live. And so, he broke his philosophical reasons because he was actually doing better on a small amount of meat every week. So, everyone is different, but but if you do eat beef or you do eat meat, you want to eat it from animals that are well treated, grass-fed beef and organic chicken, and also you've got free range. So it's just, and if you can find out the source, that's even better. So that's just one of the comments came through to that. We have different groups. So if anyone would like to stay on and join the breakout room, I'm actually going to turn off the recording. Scott, do you want to quick say the goodbyes before we just thank everybody for being here? Why don't you explain while I'm creating them, because I forgot to do that. So let me just do that real quick.
Tish is going to create a breakout room section in the lower right of your screen. And in there, you can click on the breakout section. You'll see different regions and countries. And you can join people in your local area and have conversations in your local area about which natural paths you favor the most and what's been going on in your life. This is to build your community in your area with those that are around you, okay? And as you click on the breakout rooms, there'll be a section, a blue area with the number of breakouts, people in that section. You can click on that number. If, however, you find yourself in the middle of a breakout room and there's only one person there, you can join other breakout rooms that does not have to necessarily be in your region. So please join conversations with others. Don't just sit in a breakout room by yourself. So hopefully that makes sense. And Tish, if you could start unmuting everybody.
I created the breakout rooms. So we have Canada, Eastern US, Southern US, Western US, Midwest, Central US, and then I put Europe and international. So again, let's see how many people are in different countries. And if nobody shows up in your breakout room, please just go to whatever breakout room that you.
And some of your screens, it'll just say more down next to the reaction section. You click on more, and then you'll see breakout rooms, and you can click into a breakout room that way. I love you all. Continue to be that warrior that was just mentioned earlier. Stay in the fight, okay? And I'm going to start my goodbyes to everybody as you continue through your breakout rooms. Any last second thing there, Tish?
Yeah, I think that's what sometimes I feel like I'm a warrior, and you're in a battlefield, right? And not everybody makes it, but you keep going, and you don't give up on life just because things happen. And I think that's the thing. I think even those of us without ALS, this world is a pretty crazy world. You don't just give up. You live your best life that you possibly can, and you get to the goal. And my goal is to make life better for you guys, which makes the world a better place. And Madhavendra, she's working on the yoga community. Everybody's called to do different things, so find your purpose and how you're going to make life better for not just you but other people. So really, it's how to make life, how to be in service to other people. So that's kind of what I'm doing in my journey.
So bye-bye, everybody. Thank you so much, Madhavendra, for being here. Thank you, Glenn. Thank you, Julie, for helping moderate. And so I'm just going to start saying bye-bye as you slowly click on and break out into your breakout room. Bye, David. Bye-bye. Bye, Betsy over there, and Jocelyn. Bye-bye. Bye, Chandaleya. Bye-bye. Bye, Kevin and Darcy over there. Danny Gladflock. Danny. Bye-bye, Danny. Hey, nice to see you. Fantastic. Danny's another one that was in our 219 conference a few years back. And thank you so much for being here. Darren and Helen and Cynthia, thank you for being here. And Philip and Mary and John Moreland up there in Canada. Bye-bye. Okay, nice to see you. Robert Campbell, nice to see you there. You and your wife. Hey, happy heart there. Bye-bye. Nice to see you. Bye, Franca. Bye-bye. So much. Bye-bye, Bruce and Laura.
Nice seeing everyone again.
Grady McCorrigan. Pinnakin. So nice. Thank you so much for what you do, Pinnakin. Bye-bye. Thank you, Sherry. Thank you, Alan White and Levin. And thank you, Claudia. Thank you, Kim, Victoria. Thank you, Lauren. Bye-bye. Thank you, Olaf. Thank you, Jan and Bruce and Lisa. Oh my goodness, so many names. Thank you so much for being here. Hillary, Prince, thank you. Thank you for hosting that time in Las Vegas, Hillary. Thank you, Eric Herrera. Thank you for being here.